Okay, in this tutorial I'm going to create an animatic in After Effects. I'm going to show you the quick way of doing it and also a more involved way of doing it as well. But I'm going to start off with a clean slate. So here I am in After Effects, and I'm going to bring in my images. So my images are based on my storyboards. So my storyboards were scanned into the computer. You can take a photograph of it as long as your camera is good enough. I have it all on one page, but if you do have a camera that's good enough, you should be able to get them as individual images like I do right here. So here they are, a little too small, but there's enough here at least to show you how I go about doing it. So I'm going to bring those images in first, and I'm just going to just drag them from my window into here. So it appears like that. So there's my drawings folder, and I've just dropped those in. And now I'm going to create a new composition, and the settings for this in the title could be C_Peter_animatics, so that's the name of it for now. And here's the specifications: 1920 by 1080 is the width and height. Frame rate I'm going to leave at 24, and the duration should be at least 30 seconds. That doesn't include credits or a title, so I'm just going to leave it at maybe a minute, and I'm going to click OK. So now there it is, and I can start putting my drawings in. And as you see, they're really small, so I'm going to just bring them all in at the same time and resize them. So I just drag them in and select it. So I hold down Control to select all of them, or if they're not selected like this, you just click and drag to have them all selected. And then I'm going to hold down on one of these corners to scale it, and then I'm going to hold down Shift to maintain the ratio so it doesn't skew like this. Holding down Shift maintains that, and then there are the drawings. So you can see how the quality of it's quite poor. Again, because the image I brought in was through a scan, and the scan was not very high quality. It's going to look really pixelated like that. But here is where we'll decide how many seconds we want this to appear. So I'm going to click on this to show my seconds. So for this film, it's called Touch Free, and I've already finished it. I will go in and start scaling down. So because, as you can see, I kind of have an idea of how many seconds I want each. I'm just going to scale all of them at the same time, and then I just drag it over, scale it again. So that way I don't end up spending too much time scaling this in terms of frame, in terms of time there. So there it is. For this one, this particular shot, happens pretty quickly, so probably be about a second for this one then, and then maybe another second for this third one. So I'm just clicking and dragging to see the timing of it, and then the character goes into the bathroom, looks at the sign. It's gonna be really quick. And so we're really just trying to figure out the timing of it, because I see a lot of these projects, and the timing is a little bit too slow. So oftentimes beginner animators will make their stuff too slow, and by creating an animatic, we can force ourselves to see what our viewer sees. So I'm thinking this will take about 10 seconds to play this through, and it's all in green here, so that means it'll play fine. So I'm just hit the play button here, and you'll see here that it's playing real time. So that's really important. So I think it's a little slow at times. So this one, I think this one is a little slow. Holding down Shift gives me that option. And then I'll go back and play it again. So I think this one's slow too. If that's slow, that's okay. Okay, so again, slow these down, Shift click, move them over. Same with that one, click. Okay, so now I think the timing's a lot better, and then I can just hit play on this as he ends up going into the bathroom. So that takes all but 8 seconds, and let's have a look how it looks like in 3D. Alright, so I added a couple of different shots to this, but essentially this is where the character starts, or sort of roughly the 13th second. And I had a little bit of acting in there too. But you can see how the drawings, when I originally drew them, usually about a year out, you can see how they're quite connected from the storyboards and the final product. So once you're happy with this, it's not really that simple to export this out as a movie, as this is a very common question people ask me. It's not very intuitive to go file, export, or save as. You have to go into composition and add to render queue. When you do that, this is another problem that comes up. Students always often forget how to save this. Lossless means that it's going to be a huge file. We're talking about 3 to 5 gigs, and so this will not upload. So we've got to go and change the options. So we do that, go under format, change that to QuickTime. The format options gives us the codec, and so we want H.264 codec, and we want the quality to be about 50%, 60% might be okay, and then click OK and OK, and then we kept the name of our composition, and so that's great, going at 24 frames per second, and then we can hit render. It'll take some time to go through this process. It tells how many seconds has elapsed, and then eventually it'll tell us how much time is remaining. But then it will output to this folder. So that's the important thing too, to know where that folder is, because right now I have it as an untitled project. But ideally, you should save this file, and that way the movie file will also save in the same spot. So right now I don't know where it is, and it's quite difficult to actually find out where it is if you have not saved it. So I should have clicked on this, and that way it would show me where it's going to save to. But as you can see here, just that little short 13-second clip, well, it's a minute long. You can see how long it will take, and don't be startled by the sound that it does make once it's done. But for the most part, that's how you set up the animatic. So I'll just let this thing finish. What a nice sound. I always love hearing that. But anyways, going back to this, I don't really have a lot of graphics already, but if I already did have some of the graphics, I can start putting those on top and into my After Effects project window. And that's the next step. Eventually you do need to start putting your characters in here and kind of following the poses that you'd already drawn. So this is the bare minimum in terms of an animatic, is to literally transfer your storyboard drawings and then put it into a timeline. But ideally you want to make sure your characters are already created, and then you want to start putting them in and start moving them around and animating them. So yeah, that's what we want for the animatic, and it's been done. I'm going to just go ahead and duplicate with file name, so we can click on this output to see where it saves to. So it's saved to my other folder called Cartoon Bombs, another project I'm working on. But you can see that's how we are able to go from photographs of our drawings to placing it into After Effects, and then to outputting it as a video file.